You should definitely introduce this one, though, because you picked this shit show. Oh, we're going.
Totally natural. Hello.
Hi.
Welcome back to this month's episode of Does It Suck? And for some reason, the Blood Ring did pretty good, view-wise.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, they want us to suffer. So I picked Twilight.
Yeah, fuck you.
I don't really think I shared Blood Rain that much either. So
I don't know.
I think
Blood Ring picked off.
Because people like Sean and Florida.
That's what we're gonna find out. So consider this an experimentation. We can either watch good vampire movies, or we can watch Twilight, and your views will help us vote.
So I'm going to just make a educated guess here, but I think that probably Uwe Boll watches YouTube trends, and when Blood Rain popped up on YouTube, he was like, "Look, someone watched my movie," and then he was telling his friends, "Watch, these people watched my movie."
2 3s.
All right, now we're cooking. I'm going to go out and buy the G.I. Joe license next. Please don't.
So if this is your first time here, we watch vampire movies, or in Twilight's case, vampire movies. and we kind of, just talk about the movies. We give them,
We give them a numerical score.
We give them a numerical score, and then at the end, we say whether it sucks or not.
Yes. And
sucks
being good and it's because vampires suck.
Yeah, and bites being at the bottom because vampires also bite, but it's a joke. Just follow our numbers if you want to know what we actually think. Or just watch the review.
All right.
So we sat through Twilight to entertain you.
We sat through Twilight. We're really kind of giving you the measure.
I drank through Twilight.
Right up front. Yep.
So I just want to throw up a reminder course. You gave Blood Rain a 3. I gave Blood Rain a 3. And you gave Blood Rain a 1.
Yes.
So, Amber, on a scale of 0 to 10, what would you give Twilight? I don't think this one has a subtitle. It's just Twilight. Right?
No, this one's just Twilight. I, in good conscience, can only give it a 2. And there's a lot for me to have to go into why I actually would rate Blood Rain as a better movie. Even though, in theory, the production quality of Twilight, much better than Blood Rain. But at least it had a plot.
Hey, Lance.
Fair.
What would you give Twilight?
You said I gave...
You gave Blood Rain a 1.
So I can't... I'm not comparing this to Blood Rain, so... I'm going to give God.
I'm going to give Blood Rain another chance. Please come back to me, Blood Rain.
I'll give this movie a 2.
A 2?
Hey!
I
like baseball. So,
But you like Meatloaf.
I do.
And Meatloaf was in Blood Rain.
And he was horrible, so...
But he apparently likes roast beef more.
Double roast beefs. So how about you, Nick? What did you give it?
I think it's going to be our first 2.
Aww.
Well, I mean, all around 2s.
I thought you were going to guess a 1.
No, I've seen worse movies than this. So, spoiler warning, like you give a shit, for Twilight. So I've seen worse movies than this. And this is cardinal sin, or this movie's cardinal sin, is that it's just boring.
This movie's cardinal sin is that there's no plot.
Yeah.
And the main character is a very blatant self-insert Mary Sue.
She's supposed to be blank so that the teenage girl watching it
or reading the book.
Or reading the book mostly can be Bella.
Yeah.
And then you have a personality, presumably. So you can kind of fill in for Bella and kind of be the center of attention where Bella's new to town.
Oh my god. I love Bella.
Everyone is just all over Bella because she's the new girl.
I love your
eyes. That never happens in any school of the new girl. Watch the first season of Buffy. Buffy was not wildly... She was pretty and had a personality, and everybody was like, she's a weirdo.
Yeah. I think Cordelia was trying to pull her in because she was from L.A.
Yeah, and then quickly realized, you're a weirdo.
Yeah, you're weird. And apparently no one in this town went up to Bella and be like, man, you're from Phoenix, Arizona, the most poppin' of towns. You're more interesting than what's going on here in Forks.
Forks,
Washington.
Their rival is their nearby town of Spoons.
And, you know...
This is what we've come to. This is.
I really didn't drink that much, too. That's what's sad.
And then you got to complete the trifecta with knives.
I was gonna say their mascot is the fighting butter knives.
Yeah. Except it's not knives. It's knives.
Knives.
Because that's how stupid it would be.
Of course. So, yeah, I guess we just have to unpack real quick why it's a 2, other than it's boring. Because for me, it was more than just the boring aspect.
Like that it is held up as, for teenage girls, as what is romantic is problematic.
Yes.
And
when the 17-year-old male love interest, and we're using the term 17 generously because presumably he's around 100 actually, and there are all sorts of creepy red flags about him throughout the whole movie. The staring, the
stalking,
the watching you while you sleep before we've even really had a true conversation.
Yeah, the gaslighting.
The gaslighting.
No, it's the twilighting. I think we covered this, guys. It's the twilighting.
But it's so problematic. And my biggest issue with the series, and obviously the first book in general, I've never read them, but the problem I have with this series is that most teenage girls are very, very impressionable.
Mm-hmm.
No.
We're an impressionable breed.
Well, even teenage boys, teenagers are impressionable.
Yeah, but girls a little bit more so because there is a pressure to fit into certain groups, and there's and we all most girls go through a very kind of phase of nobody wants us, nobody loves us, and I know guys probably do that too, but it's very heightened for girls, especially because we are constantly inundated with love stories and romance stuff and girly things, and that you're supposed to find your true love and you're supposed to get married and be happy and have this family. And it's a very central theme that gets pushed on us from real little.
And especially from when most of that stuff is teenage love that is kind of elevated.
Disney
you're supposed
is
to
a
find...
big problem of why this concept exists.
Yeah.
All of those Disney princesses are generally around the age of 16.
Yeah, and you're supposed to find your love at 16, and if you don't, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, so there's this, and then you have to take into account hormones. Hormones will lie to you and tell you you're in love when you're not really. And so there's a big trend for, you have these girls who they're not finding that great big love, or they might have found someone or whatnot, but you're like, you want that, and then you might be gothy or just attracted to that bad boy image, and you're so impressionable, and so you get a hold of this book that becomes wildly popular, or you watch this movie that's been based off this book that's wildly popular, and you see something that you're being told is a grand love story. Yeah. You're being told that this is the new Cinderella, or this is the new Snow White or Sleeping Beauty. You're being sold that this is a love story, and this is very problematic behavior because there's a lot of controlling behavior towards women. There's a lot of dismissive, and it's the super heightened tragic love story too, where it's like, if I can't have you, I don't want to live, and it's just like it's piling it's like, all of these really heavy tropes on hormonal teenagers who can't think straight, or at least one hormonal teenager, and then one really creepy old dude.
Yeah, he's an old man.
And it's problematic. And I'm not saying you're not allowed to like this and you can't enjoy this, but you need to accept that in a logical viewing of it, this is a problematic relationship with red flags and creepiness written all over it. You can still like it, but this is not going to be a representation of a healthy relationship. It's a toxic relationship. It's a bad relationship. And it feeds into this fundamental idea that girls end up in relationships where they think they can fix them or they need to change for a man. And I felt like you can even see that in this movie where Bella was like, why didn't you let me become like you at the very end when she had the chance to become a vampire and he stopped it. And she was like, no, go ahead and turn me. And it's like, don't change yourself for a man, women.
They're not
when you're 16. Never change yourself for another person. If they can't accept you for who you are, that's not a healthy relationship. Do you need to learn to grow with people and maybe change together?
Change for yourself.
But yes, change for yourself. But you can grow in a relationship, and you might see yourself in a relationship and go, I need to change myself because I don't like who I am, and I want to grow with this person, and then to be able to better grow, I need to change a fundamental self part of me. That's part of discovering self-identity. But to just change yourself because you feel like that's the only way you can connect with a man, don't. Just don't.
I don't think that's why she wanted to do that. Personally, if I got bit and I'm like, turn me into the vampire, it's not because I want to be with the person. It's like, I want to throw fucking buses.
Yeah.
I want to run at Mach 2.
But at the end, that's not what she wanted. That's not what she wanted. At the end, she was like, she was like, why did you stop the transformation? I could have been just like you. Those were her exact words.
Yeah. He ran Mach 2.
No, she wants to be a vampire because then their love will be eternal.
Can't watch me sleep, bitch, if you can't catch me. I mean, I get what you're saying. I'm making a joke, but...
So this movie reminds me... so this movie's trash. And
if the two didn't inform that.
And like if you sit down to dinner with a whole pie, you can sit down and just be, I fucking love pie. It's garbage. I should not be eating an entire pie. I'm just going to be eating an entire pie. And then someone sits down with like a salad, and you're like, see, your salad is just as good as my pie. Like, we're getting the same amount of energy. It's just as good for us. It's like, no, you can sit down and go like, you're doing good for yourself. I'm going to eat this crapping pie because I hate myself.
Yeah, there's that too.
So just, you can like this.
Yeah,
it's fine.
There's nothing wrong with that. But just acknowledge that
it's trash.
You can like things that fundamentally have problematic messaging.
Yes.
One of my favorite movies is The Devil Wears Prada. And I will tell you up and down every day, that movie has some very problematic messaging about women's weight. Extremely problematic messaging about women's weight. And it offends me many times when I watch it, but I still love the movie.
I think us going back and watching Eurotrip. Like, I don't think Eurotrip is where we should like act and stuff like that, but it's still funny.
Yeah.
And you can acknowledge the fact that Eurotrip's it's not a good movie, but it's really fun.
It's fun.
It's really fun.
Look at James' penis.
Yeah.
Well, I think when you guys reviewed Bedazzled,
yes.
You guys realized that Brendan Fraser's character had a lot of very problematic messaging in the way that he presented.
Like A Perfectly Happy Life, but
I don't remember saying that.
You don't remember you and Nick reviewing that?
Yeah, there was the part where
maybe
where like Brendan Fraser was living like the perfectly happy life, but he was gay, and he's got to change that. And while that would be what was in the 90s or whatever, like a funny joke in the 90s, nowadays you're kind of like, but you can still appreciate the movie for what it is.
And so it's you can like things that have problematic messaging, but just know that sometimes the problematic messaging can be informing poorly on a generation.
Yeah, you can watch,
which is my problem.
Yeah, you can watch a movie from like the 90s with like a Muslim terrorist and realize like, hey, that's kind of shitty, but still enjoy the movie for what it is, and just kind of take the good.
You take the bad.
You take the bad. You take the both. There you have facts. I was going there.
We were there with you.
I was just gonna say you take the bad, and you guys went wild with it.
That's you take the good, you take the bad, you take both, and there you have
the facts of life. The facts of life.
I know it's gonna sound like if you like the Twilight movies, I know it's gonna sound like we're basically just dunking on this movie, and we are.
Yeah, it's bad.
But if there's one thing you need to take away from it, it's like Amber said, and it's like Nick said. Perfectly fine to like whatever it is. You can love this movie. That's fine. Just as long as you're not going overboard with it, and you just got to know that's not what love is.
Yeah, don't take this as advice.
Yeah, if you're like a teenage person, or if you're like even in your 20s, you don't fucking know what a real relationship is, what love is. You haven't experienced enough life to know what you want. There's a lot of people out there, and you have to kind of date around to find your other person. And for some reason, this is like, I guess what gets romanticized is
love at first sight is
a person. Well, it's just a person who wants me uncontrollably, You know, like someone who's just fucking crazy for me.
Yeah, he stalks me at night. He's obsessed with me.
Someone who lives just because I'm on the planet. You know, like it's
the codependency.
This is basically written and shown as the idea that this is what women want men to be like.
Oh,
they want men to be so single-mindedly possessive and wanting of them that they will just go to like these extreme lengths. It's this idea that it's not a true representation of a way the opposite gender typically thinks, and so it's this idealized version that's really creepy. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, Edward will never not be creepy.
I'm not a psychiatrist, but I think that we grow up with parents who love us unconditionally and tell us that we hang the moon. And then when we get older, we want people that are going to tell us that we hang the moon and love us unconditionally. So I think that's what a lot of teenage people go through. When you're little, you have that. When you get older, you start figuring out more of the world and you feel like you're detached from that. And I feel like that's why teenagers fight with their parents so much, because they start figuring out, you know, the world's bigger than this house. And they just want someone that just basically, I live for you. I live for you now. Like what was the from the movie Inside Out? I'll die for you, Riley.
I'd die for you, Riley.
I'd die for you, Riley. Like that's everyone wants that one person who loves you so uncontrollably and crazy that like basically you're all they think about. Yeah. You're my sun and my moon. But yeah, I think that the reason this movie's problematic is because it's a human girl in love with a fucking old vampire. Yeah. It's not real. It's not realistic. A lot of people, yeah, we use that term very loosely. A sparkle bunny, whatever the fuck he is, I don't know. But like, this movie it lacks, I guess to use your
personality.
I guess to use your pie analogy is it's all filling and it's all filler and there's no substance. Like
no, it's all white rice. It's bland.
For the pie analogy, it's all crust.
Well, even
like, give me a fucking apple, please.
Yeah, but even rice fills you up. There's no real nutritional value to it, but like at least it'll give you a full stomach. Like this is just it's hollow. The reason I gave the movie a 2 is because I liked the baseball part. I like vampire baseball. So I'm gonna truth time. I went and saw this movie in the theater with my good friend Matt and Katie.
I refused to go.
Apparently I'm the only person here who hadn't seen it before.
Well, I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
Like I'd never heard of the books. I'd never heard of anything. And like Matt was like, we're gonna go watch Twilight. And me and Matt we were tight as two ass cheeks at that point. And I was like, yeah, I'll go see the movie with you.
And he offered it to me.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm not gonna go see those Sparkly Vampires. And he's like, what? And I go, I'm not gonna watch Sparkly Vampires. Enjoy.
I went into that movie literally knowing zero, and I walked out of it going, and he's like, the next movie should be coming out like soon. I was like, you know what? I'm going to hold off.
It was like, Lance, good news. There's more of it. There's more.
Well, but wait, there's more. It's just, I remember sitting in the theater going just like, what, like I appreciate turning a genre on its ear, and not like even in your books that you wrote, you tried to change up a lot of the transformations and a lot of the lore, but we tried to approach it from a like a physiological, like a biological standpoint.
That and I tried to root it in still keeping with common myths. Common known myths.
But it's like whoever wrote this story, they're just like, they can't go in the sunlight because they're even more beautiful. And
there's apparently, because I've seen this argument a lot. There's apparently some weird Italian myth about vampires that could shine in the sunlight, but it's a very rare, like specific breed, like mythos. It's weird. I don't know which one, but. That's normally, if you were to make this argument to like a diehard Twihard, because they call themselves Twihards, I think, they would be like, oh, well.
I'm sorry, I just threw up in my mouth a little. My bad. I'm sorry.
They would tell you about.
Maybe we should try harder to keep it down.
But yeah, apparently there's a
That's pretty good.
There's a myth or some lore out of Italy where that's
Stuff I've not heard of.
It doesn't matter. It's all made up horse shit. Like, it doesn't... There's no real rules. We have a standard that we rate vampires up against.
We're not even rating. We're just going down are they traditional vampires? Because you can have a good vampire movie and have very little in common with that.
Yeah. And the thing is the reason why we chose those traits for vampires, though, is that those are both common in movies, and the reason they're common in movies is because the idea of vampires, when they existed back in the day, these were normally like medical conditions or reasons why people might be acting in that way. There's no known medical condition that your skin just shines brightly like a diamond in the sunlight. That, to my knowledge, I am sorry if I offend you if your skin does that in the sunlight.
I'm sorry, Hezekiah.
Excuse me, seen by few. I have diamond skinitis.
Well, good for you, Emma Frost. I'm sorry, Hezekiah. I'm afraid you're gonna die. What is it, Doc? Well, we can't get you to stop shitting, and I can't see you in this mirror. So, you must be a vampire. Or you just have dysentery. Either one of the two. But
clean off the mirror.
Oh!
You're still dying, bro.
But yeah, it's just this movie...
You react really poorly when we injected silver into you.
No shit, you wanted to put it in my left nut. Hey, well?
No. Like, I injected silver nitrate into your arm, and it's reacting poorly. That's a toxin. It's a toxin. That's why it always reacts poorly when injected.
Yeah, well, you also, flinched when we showed you this cross. Well, you were also pressing it into my left eye, so...
And you also did this.
He
recoiled.
Vampire!
So, speaking of vampire traits, I guess we could go into that unless we want to...
Did you want to... What were you saying?
Or
did you lose that?
I think the Twihard puking was...
So... Okay, that wasn't it. This flick was literally new girl comes to town, and for some reason everyone fucking accepts her. Everyone loves her. Hey, do you remember me? I was there when you were little. Like it was weird. It's got to be like, I guess if there was a male side version of this story, it would be.
Oh, there is. Stephanie Myers went back and rewrote the first book as Midnight Sun, but it's from Edward's point of view. So if you really, really wanted that...
I'm talking about...
A man moves to town.
Moves to town. It would be... All the girls are like, hey!
Lance, I have a new money idea for you. I think you should write a version of Twilight that's gender bent.
I don't want to do that.
Why not?
'Cause,
I mean, from what I know about Twilight, you could write that.
No.
I think I could write that.
I mean, all you have to do is make him come to town, and the hot female vampire stares uncomfortably at him all the time, is 100 years older than her, and, he's so unique and special because he's vapid and devoid of any thought in his mind.
Yeah. We just write him like a Sea Ranger or whatever.
Well, I'm just saying, guy comes to town and all the women are like, hey, good to see you. Oh my God, you're so cute. And all the guys are like, man, you look tough. I want to mess with you. You look tough. And then, the one girl is like, I just want your wiener in my mouth all the time. And he's like, hey, calm down. She's like, I don't know what it is about you. I just want your wiener in my mouth. And I can't read your mind. But why can't I read your mind? I don't know. I don't know what that's about. Well, let me open my mind to you. Meow, 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 meow. It's just, that's got to be, the flip side of it. Everybody fucking loves you. The girls constantly want you. Just put on your teenage heart-on. This is what I need. This is what I felt like I was missing, Yes,
and I walk into the room, and everyone's head turns towards me. I'm the hottest shit in town.
Yeah, even when the dumbest shit that I say sounds like Albert Einstein reading a fucking sonnet or something like that. It just... I don't know.
Does he
I
smell
can
like
see.
roast beef?
Yeah, double roast beef with cheddar.
He just smells like cheese.
Still, I don't understand that part in the beginning where he's
smells real Gouda.
So if you're a Twilight person, please tell us down in the comments why he couldn't sit next to her that first week of school. Because she walked past the fan.
Her scent was like a drug. Remember the first time he took her running through the woods? He would told her, "Your scent's like a drug to me. I can't control myself around you." Her mere presence and sitting next to him and her scent was so intoxicating that he was about to lose control and rip her throat out.
Yeah, but
So he had to plug his nose like this. Man, what a great first impression.
I'm just saying, like, what drug? Like ketamine? Are we talking acid here? She walked in the room and he was like, "Oh, da-dang!" Like,
I think from all the animal attacks that were happening in town, it was a cocaine bear. It was a smell. You smell just like cocaine bear.
we could have did Cocaine Bear here, people.
Oh,
This is what you
It's
wanted.
not a vampire
it's not a
movie.
vampire movie, and we're not watching good movies.
Yeah, good point. Well,
Actually, I've not seen it.
yeah, I was
I have
about
no
to say
idea it's
the
good.
verdict's still out on that one.
Yeah, I've
but-
not seen it.
I've heard good reviews.
Yeah. But yeah, it's this movie is got to be someone who just doesn't know what love is missing connection and friends. Like this seems like this is a, I don't know, like it was so sad watching this movie because it's like all the acceptance. Like the one thing that I remember telling you one time is I remember I walked in and I apologized at you one point and I was like, I was watching videos of little girls on YouTube's getting pets. And like kids would get like, little boys would get on and be like, "Oh, it's a puppy. Oh my God, it's so." But like girls, they would get a cat and they'd just start bawling. And the parents are just like, "Why are you crying?" And they're like, "I'm so happy." And like, that didn't compute to me at first. But like girls, I guess y'all hit a certain point where it's just like, y'all are these balls of emotional fucking energy and you can't control it. Like, that's cool. But like at the same time, it's like that doesn't compute to me. I'm an emotional person, but at the same time, I don't think I've ever cried because of a dog. Only dog I've ever cried for is the Sarah McLachlan commercials where it's like, "This dog, I'm going to shoot it unless you send it money."
So we have a 2.5-year-old who doesn't know how to control his emotions. My theory is that girls, we learn to hide our emotions as best we can, but that little rage monster of emotions that never really goes away. It's just always sitting behind a very thin curtain, and certain things just set it off. And that's why, like, we sometimes just start bawling for no apparent reason. It's because, it's like, "Oh, this just set me off, and now I must cry because you gave me a cat," or
I don't know.
I stubbed my toe, or my coffee didn't filter properly.
I just don't know why this is popular, and maybe it's just because I'm a dude.
Teenage girls.
And that's fine, but it's like,
It would not have been popular for me as a teenage girl.
And then-
I know that for a fact.
and then
I would not have put up with
someone
this crap.
writes fanfic off of this, and it gets picked up by
Terrible fanfic.
20 to 50-year-old women that
Christian women who were like, "Oh my God, I'm reading 50 Shades of Grey," and I'm like, "Aren't you like always saying praise God and Jesus, and you're reading 50 Shades of Grey, and you're telling people about it?"
I don't know. It's just
Like, I'm the last person to sex shame somebody, but if you are like espousing conservative Christian values but you're openly flaunting your reading 50 Shades, I'm gonna look at you a little cross-eyed.
well, I think that was just a popular thing to do. I think that was like in the zeitgeist of like what
Yeah,
was
no,
popular
it
at that
was
time.
super popular, and
Right.
everybody had to read it, and it was terribly written Bella Edward fanfic of BDSM.
Yeah, it just what the world
With
needs
this-
now is love, sweet love. We need to love each other more, so stuff like this isn't super appealing to our teenage kids. If your kid is,
That's kids are always going to like.
well,
stuff.
I get it, but it's like just something's got to be missing to like really fall so hard for something like
And
that.
again, liking it's fine. It's the thinking that this is the example of what a relationship is not the good part.
And that's the sad part. That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. Is like there's so many other stories out there. Not any that I don't do a lot of young female adult reading, but like there's so many other stories out there that could be more popular. The fact that this one took off like it did and then spawned something else that was like, even from what I hear, worse, is just that's got to be some kind of commentary that's got to be some kind of commentary on how we feel like we are treated, or how we feel like we are loved, or what we think love is. I might be wrong. I could be completely wrong. I'm just another asshole on the internet giving you my opinion.
Apparently,
but-
the cat's hungry.
She's got food.
She's always hungry.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Come on, Wisp. Anyways, so let's do the list.
We want to look at.
Yes, let's find out. Are Twilight vampires like traditional vampires?
So blood dependency.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Yep.
Well,
Yeah.
Well, they have to eat animals.
they had
to have blood.
Immortality.
Yeah.
Yep. Physical prowess.
Yeah.
Yep. Magical prowess.
Apparently,
You could-
they
you
all
could-
had, and we had the future scene, and we had
mind reading.
Magical blood.
yeah.
Yes, does indeed act as a.
Well,
No, it had venom.
Yeah, they have.
The
well,
I guess it's their bite.
It was like poison.
Yeah.
So is that magical, or because it seems like it kills you?
is there something where like the
The magical bite might go into magical prowess, but I think we put that your magical blood is what heals or makes vampires. It doesn't seem like it is. It's just like you bite them and they become a vampire.
yeah, they have a toxin.
So it's less of magic blood and more of magic powers. So I don't know if they got magic blood.
I'm gonna say no on that one.
But then again, there's 4 more movies.
yeah, and could be more explained in later movies.
So at the moment, not that we saw. In the
Please
first
don't
one.
make us watch the other ones.
Hey, if you give this a bunch of views,
And then you can watch Bella be depressed.
we can watch what?
Bella be
Oh,
depressed.
yeah, we got that already.
Oh no, it gets worse.
No, of course it does. We barely got any Jacob with this movie.
Oh, the next movie has a lot of
Oh, yeah, I
Jacob.
love it.
And I think he loses the bad wig, just so you know.
That's good. His hair looks awful. So nigh unkillable. Stakes, beheading, and burned. I mean, they had to like snap the one's neck and burn it to ash.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but like the way they talked, I've never seen a vampire like this before. He tracks and he'll come after her and blah. And then
They just snapped his neck.
and then they kicked him across the room,
It snapped his neck
ganged
to a
up
fire.
on him and snapped his neck and then
Why
put him in a
couldn't
fire.
they have done that in Forks? Why did they have to go to Phoenix to do that? Why didn't
Exactly.
they just bring her to their house and corner him there?
So
I
I
agree.
think the implication is nigh unkillable, but we've not seen them get into knuckle draggers yet.
Don't worry. And I think the 4th movie, there's a knockout, drag out fight. Or 5th movie.
Yeah, the
Huge battle in
part-
Breaking
part
Dawn.
2, yeah.
The one that ruined the movie and book that ruined our D&D group.
Yeah, I was going to say that, but I was going to save it. So, well, we'll talk about that in a second. So, shape-shifting,
No, not that we've seen.
distinctive...
But we know it's there. Are we talking about vampires?
No, this is
Vampires.
vampire criteria.
Okay, no.
distinctive appearance.
I mean,
They're supposed to be pale,
they're supposed to be pale.
but the filter makes everyone look pale.
No, it only made Bella and Edward and the vampires
It's
look
because
pale.
you have Bella and Edward in the same shot, and I don't think they figured out how to mount one
Well,
of
no,
them
but
pale.
even when she was in shots with her friends, she
she's
seemed
pale.
pale.
Well,
So, like,
also-
you put her next to Anna Kendrick, and she seemed super pale next to her. She's like, oh, you look different than everyone. So it's like she was already akin to the vampires. Because she was
So
ethereal,
pale.
pale.
So pale. So they had distinctive eyes.
Yeah, that's true.
Very, and then they
And then
sparkled.
I think
And
the
they-
sparkle skin would fall under that, Nick.
But that's distinctive for her, not distinctive for vampires.
This is true.
That's not That's not a vampire. A distinctive appearance for a vampire's fangs, pale, long fingernails, wears black, hissing.
And sparkles. Apparently,
they kind of did hiss off.
it's
each
an
other.
Italian thing.
Yeah.
They kind of stood off each other, like when I compared it to cats. I'm like,
Yeah.
let's just break out to a Cats musical at this point.
It seemed like it was more growling.
Yeah, well, essentially they were doing the.
So is that a yes or a no?
I think yeah,
Yeah,
because they're pale,
Okay.
and they kind of looked like he kind of had fangs, but that could have just been the way his teeth were.
I never saw fangs. Well, not once in this movie.
I mean-
Like
It
like
looked
the
like
bite
he-
mark didn't look like it had fangs.
No.
It looked like a full-on bite mark on her
I
arm.
never saw
that.
fangs one time in this movie. I was paying attention.
Well, I wasn't sure if they're trying to get if I don't know Robert Pattinson's face like some teenage girls do. I don't know if he's just got more pronounced canines or if they were try to make him look a bit beefier.
I was watching just for because the one thing that they always have to do in every single vampire movie is go.
Yeah, that's
So-
why it's distinctive appearance. Coffin dependency, no.
Nope.
Monstrous predatory, stalking and hunting is
Yeah.
in there. So yeah, tragic figure, somehow.
In the scope of the thin plot that was this story, I suppose.
They didn't show us that he was a tragic figure. He told us he was a tragic figure, as all good writing should do.
Yeah, I love
I'm
this.
so tragic and everything's awful. I have to eat animals to survive.
We're like vegetarians. We eat animals. That's not what a vegetarian is, buddy.
I love that terrible.
But for vampires, that's a vegetarian. I gotta go.
So under Randy, we put sexuality as well as euphoric bite.
I don't know that their bite was euphoric because
No,
she
it
seemed
seemed
like
very
it
painful.
painful.
But they were Randy.
But when he had to suck the poison out,
Then
she
she
seemed like it was euphoric.
So I think Randy. I mean, it's a teenage hormone movie.
I
don't know if it's the vampires are Randy or just every single character is Randy.
So when he was sucking the poison out, I remember the one time I had a really bad infection, and when the doctor put the needle in and numbed the area, I remember I was so appreciative. I was so appreciative that the pain went away, where it was almost like it was like euphoric. Because I remember I was just like, "Thank you, oh my god, thank you, I feel so much better."
Then he shot a load in their face.
All right, so hierarchy. They seem to have a hierarchy, but I don't know if it's.
I think it was
the dad is like.
I only feel like they have a hierarchy because that's the way, since they were like, they aren't traditional within their own kind because they go after animals instead of people. And I feel like their hierarchy is because that's how they survive, more of how they survive, and
I guess I seem to remember from future movies that there's this whole council shit, but we're not there yet. At least in this movie, not.
To me, it was a pack mentality.
Indistinct.
Yeah. They have a family for safety reasons, for being able to blend into society, unless I think because of a hierarchical.
Even in a hierarchy, you have to kind of watch your mouth on what you say.
Yeah,
you had the one blonde that kept popping off. You had the other three vampires.
Carlisle never really tried to reprimand.
No, he was. Well, he's a nice guy. Like
until it was like your brother's girlfriend, they've been dating like for like maybe 2 days. She's part of the family now. You'll do as I say.
Yeah,
she's family now.
But it wasn't like when
family.
And then they rev their engines and.
Yeah, but like when Edward was talking about Carlisle and everything like that, it didn't seem like it was like he is our leader. It was like, I appreciate him because he did this for us.
Yeah.
So to me, it was more like a pack mentality because even with the bad guys, it seemed like the one,
just three guys
the dude with the dreads,
Darwin. We're just gonna call him Darwin.
Okay, the guy that played Darwin in the X-Men movies. He seemed like he was in lead, but it became very obvious he was not the leader when that one dude was like, "Ah, you brought a snack." So yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't say there's
Darwin.
a hierarchy.
We had what was his name? Morgan Steele.
Yeah, from
Violet Knight, and then we had some random redheaded girl.
No, I didn't look her up.
You had the girl from your show.
Well, that was Edward's mom.
Yeah.
Esmer. That was Rebecca Pope.
Yeah.
She went crazy, had a hysterical pregnancy, and then tried to kill herself by slitting her wrists.
Yeah, in the beginning of the episode, she had a Band-Aid that came off wrong, and she's like, "Oh, it'll be fine." And the next thing it was like, "It's super infected. She's gonna die." So that's that show. It's every single time you're watching that show, I always walk in and go, "What's that? What's going on with that guy?" Well, this guy's got an arrow in his head. He'll be fine. What's going on with this guy? This guy's got a tummy ache. Poor bastard. That's always the way it works out.
Well, at least Amber has admitted that show is trash.
I know.
But it's enjoyable.
It's my guilty pleasure.
Yeah. So
much like Shadowhunters, it was my guilty pleasure.
No, hierarchy will put question mark. Not really. But there might be groups of vampires potentially. But that's not a vampire thing. That'd be a group thing.
We'll round on that again when we watch later movies.
Yes.
But please don't make us do that.
If we get to 100 views, I swear the next month could potentially be New Moon.
Yeah, I know.
I'm telling them, not us.
I'm.
You just resign. Yeah, just gotta keep it under 100, buddy.
I could just see, like a site like 4chan or something like getting a hold of this and be like, watch these fuckers like, royal in pain. So let's blow this shit up so they have to watch. I don't know, what's the worst vampire movie you could think of? Oh, I'm sorry, we just watched it. So.
This can't be the worst vampire movie.
I mean, averagely, the average of all the ones we've watched, technically Blood Rain is ahead. Because you would have had a 7 divided by 3, which would be like a 2 point something, which this was a 2. So, Blood Rain is just slightly higher.
Not only that, but also keep in mind, we started watching that female vampire one that was free on YouTube or whatever.
It's got to be worse than Twilight, right?
Yeah, that movie. Look, we stopped that movie in like the first 3 seconds.
We weren't going to sit and watch it. It was more of like, hey, look, there's a bunch of stupid vampires.
Well,
we could keep this series going forever.
Yeah, we were like, hey, look, this movie was shot on a Nokia phone.
Yeah, does it suck? Has legs. So sunlight weakness? No.
No.
Holy weakness? Not
that we
not
can see.
not seen. Forbidden's not.
No,
No,
because
he could
apparently you
creep
can
his
just
way
go
into
in
your
there
house.
into your while you're sleeping and never.
Forbidden from turning down a double roast beef sandwich.
So while you're stalking a woman, you're free to go in her house and suck on her toes while she's sleeping.
Sorry, didn't mean to wake you.
No one's gonna stop you.
Yeah.
Silver weakness, never.
Not that we've seen.
Never shown. Garlic weakness.
He appeared to have a reflection and could take photos. So
And garlic weakness, definitely not. They were making Italian for her.
And if you're making Italian food and you're not putting garlic on it, you're blander than Bella.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. No one's
Stop making Italian food.
Nothing's blander than Bella.
All right.
It had more than I thought.
I know, isn't that weird and
But
surprising?
less than I hoped, more than I thought.
It checked off a lot of boxes, but at the end of the day, that does not make a good vampire movie.
No.
So Lance, you want to do your guess the scores?
Yeah.
We made sure not to look at the scores.
Yeah, I did go into IMDb, but I didn't fortunate enough not to see the.
I didn't see the score when I went there because I did go there to look up a couple of people. But I didn't.
It's that.
But the way I went,
James.
I think it went through. I didn't. It wasn't in a
So
way.
we are going to start on IMDb.
So this is going to be hard.
So,
Because you've got like the normal people who watch the movie who are going to give it low ratings, and then you've got the people who just love this movie who are just going to flash at tens.
you think so?
But are they enough to balance it more than a 3? I'm gonna go 2.7.
2.7?
IMDb is on a 1 to 10 scale.
Yes.
I'm going to say 4.7.
Amber's closest, 5.3.
They are enough of them.
5.3.
I figured it was close to middling.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to make you guess the Metascore.
Meta's trash.
Yeah,
you,
that's
you,
why
you never know.
That's why I feel like we should just, because it was done by 38 critics, so you have to go with the over-under of the folks there.
All right, now we're going to Rotten Tomatoes.
So now we're going to go to Rotten.
So I think on Rotten Tomatoes, it got a 46%.
Okay, no.
Critics for 46.
That's your guess for critics.
Oh, we're doing critics?
Oh, we should start with critics, right?
Or
are you saying the people score is 46?
I would think the people score is 46.
Okay, so we're gonna start with critics. So
critics,
Amber, what do you think the critics gave Twilight?
28.
28. Okay, Nick.
35.
35. 49. 49.
Oh my God.
Yep. Okay, so Amber, what do you think the audience gave
46.
46. Don't let your thoughts color this decision.
53.
I'm going to give you another opportunity. Are you going to stick with 46?
I think you got it. I think he's head on.
I'm going to keep it at 46.
72.
Jesus Christ.
This movie is considered fresh on Rotten Tomatoes.
What?
Yep.
What?
Yep, 72. So, yeah.
So apparently the people that go and just bombard with views or bombard with tens is a massive amount.
Twihards, man, I'm telling you. We underestimated them, Nick.
Well, it's like, if one
I
person...
guess I overestimated other people to watch this movie and then go...
I should have remembered that I have seen people who have gotten full back-size tattoos of Edward's face.
I'd like to find those people now and find out what they think about their decision. But how do you feel about your decisions that you made, in 2000?
They were adults. They were already, middle-aged women who were doing that. They weren't teenagers.
This movie came out in 2008. There's a lot of time between that movie and now where something had to go through their head to be like...
Well, I bet you go what do you think of that Edward Cullen back tattoo? And I'm like, it goes really good with my Christian Grey sleeve.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I'm just telling you that the people who were doing that, they weren't the teenagers. They were the soccer moms. They were the middle-aged women who were super obsessed. Because there is I always forget that there's a very large group of
women who got married right out of high school and wished that it was actually more like this.
Probably.
It's fucking gross. I'm sorry. If you like this stuff, I am not judging you. If you like this movie, if you like this genre, I'm not judging you. It's not for me. And the one thing I will tell you is, if you like this movie a lot, and right now you are upset at us for saying the things that we're saying, if you see me on the street, I will give you a hug. If that's what I just, something's got to be missing from people to like really want this to be a thing in the world. Like, if it's just, I'll give you a hug, like straight up, just walk up and go, and I'll give you a hug. And, you're loved. You don't need a 117-year-old vampire guy watching you while you sleep. I love watching you sleep. Why? Because you look really dead. So, I don't know. But, yeah, it's just, this movie's not for me. And if you like it, good on you.
I'm very upset that you gave this a 2 and Blood Rain a 1. Because Blood Rain is clearly a better movie than this.
No. Well, okay. Blood Rain
has a better plot.
Yeah, Blood Rain has a plot.
Ergo, better.
It's not just Rain staring at Mullet the entire movie. I don't remember the character's name. I just know it's Mullet.
Yeah, but like the acting in that movie is just bad. Everything about that movie is just bad.
Mm-hmm. Bella has no personality, so how am I supposed to... And really, truthfully, Edward doesn't have much of personality. 90% of the movie, they neither one have a personality, so how am I supposed to judge if they have acting, if the acting's any good when they're like, I must not emote. I can't. I just can't. No emotion.
I mean, there were...
I love you.
There were... I love you too. Oh, you're like a drug to me. But I mean, there is some emoting where it was like, how'd you get over the car so fast? How'd you stop this? How'd you do that? I know what you are. Say it. Like there's acting there. There's acting there. In Blood Rain, it was like, we can't go into the castle because the vampire comes out during the day.
The best part about that was Michelle Rodriguez's British accent, where if you talk very pointed, it's apparently an accent that happens in Britain or wherever the fuck they are.
Yeah, it's bad.
I like this part. Just push him onto my sword for me.
Oh, yeah. That was good. The movie's good. Well,
it's better
than Twilight, which
Twilight had, again, I said I think this before we started filming, cinematically, the way that they actually shot scenes and the production value is arguably better because it actually has a production value.
I don't like the glossy filter that they put on the entire thing. It's like someone was like, there's something on the lens, and then they just shined it and was like,
but they attempted to make artistic shots. They did. There was an attempt there. But then, you have the really bad stunt work of every time that Edward was running really fast and climbing trees, where it was just like, or
this isn't wire work at all. Or he does the jump and does like some of these numbers.
And where it's like, look, Ma, there's no wires in that scene.
I also like the part when the guy was on the boat and like the girl reached out and like grabbed the boat and like pulled it, and like she's like, and like the guy in the boat was like you could see he was moving fast, so it was like, because she's moving fast, I guess she makes things move fast around her.
Well, when she kicked him down, even the guy had speed lines when he got knocked out.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, okay, she's going to move and grab the boat and pull it to you. You be as careful as possible. Bitch, I'm in a boat. Just do what you can.
I'm on a boat.
But yeah.
The ground underneath me is moving.
Yeah. Do we have to keep this up? Are we done here?
So let's take a second to talk about the plot. There's some vampires killing. They kill one of them. And that happened in 10 minutes over this 2-hour movie.
And then in the other 2 hours, or in the other hour and 50 minutes, I would say at least 65% is Bella
staring.
narrating over her and Edward just staring at each other intently.
And it was boring. At least Blood Rain had shit happening. They went into like a crazy den with Meatloaf.
And there's a lot of...
And there was shitty
She
sword
had to
fighting.
learn to use those swords. Oh, I'm a natural.
It's bad. It was so bad.
There was like...
there are more pleasant, happy callbacks that we can make about Blood Rain than we will ever make about Twilight, with the exception of roast beef.
Yeah.
I will never look at roast beef the same.
There was the time that like Mads Mikkelsen, Michelle Rodriguez, and Mullet went up to go ask the dude about a thing, and like a guy walked up and he didn't see reflection, so he stabbed him in the chest, and he was just like, "No." Like, oh, that's a thing that happens here. That's funny.
There's a guy that got cut in the middle, and you watched him go. "Ugh."
Oh yeah, that's great. Yeah. There was the guy who got like cut across the chest. You saw the poof of air and then the blood spray.
It's bad. It's just bad.
We're not saying it was good, but it was arguably more memorable.
All I'm saying is that at least there was like some kind of something I could follow in this movie. There's something more I can make fun of than the accents and the bad acting.
Oh, that stuff's easy to make fun of.
Well, it is easy to make fun of, but at least in this.
What do you remember more, though? Do you remember?
I don't remember
Twilight.
I don't remember shit about Blood
Because
Rain.
he's trying to fall asleep.
I tried like hell, and you would not let it happen.
Wake up.
You tried again tonight.
No, I didn't. I was one point, one time.
Yeah, well, one time you're like, I wonder if I can get on TikTok real quick. I'm like, put it down.
I'm just saying. But yeah, it was just there was
No distractions.
At least there was something more to talk about on this movie than there was just the really horrible shit.
But I think the only thing that we really talked about was me going on a diatribe about the problematic nature of of what this film puts out into the zeitgeist.
Yeah.
There's problematic content that this puts out there.
It's movies like this that get you Raylos. Which is, stop.
I mean, just,
Please, that's not a good
or the
relationship.
concept of, I can change for him. And then you end up in a cycle of bad relationships or even abusive relationships. There are red flags in the Edward Cullen, Bella Swan relationship that are red flags for that is how a abusive relationship can start.
Down in the comments. Let us know.
Especially when there's a 100-year age difference.
And not even necessarily physical. I mean, it's an emotionally abusive relationship.
Yeah. I'm all for May December romances. I'm not going to tell people they can't have them, but there's got to be a point when you're Matthew McConaughey in the high school and you're 100.
All right.
I don't know. People like to hold up Romeo and Juliet as kind of this something that's super romantic, but they're dead in the end.
Yeah,
after like a couple weeks.
Yeah,
that's not. Stop.
And Bonnie and Clyde's out. Go see that. That's the new Romeo and Juliet, basically.
Which one?
Bonnie and Clyde. We did a musical thing tonight, and apparently that one kept popping up, and I had not seen it until like recently. So it's got to be something new.
I've never heard of it.
Neither did we until tonight, but
they go out in a blaze of glory too, guys. Spoilers.
Yeah, there's
if you don't know the story of Bonnie and Clyde, I'm so sorry I just spoiled that for you.
So, but
Pay attention to history.
Can we be done?
We still need to know if it sucks.
Oh, shit.
Does it suck?
It blows.
It fucking bites.
It bites. It blows.
It runs out of the room screaming, crying, and throws itself off of a cliff, so it doesn't have to suck or bite.
Yeah. No. This movie shines.
I'll give you high five.
Where is this movie? It sparkles.
Yeah, this movie
sparkles.
That is the new zero for the. Okay, yeah, this movie sparkles.
It sparkles.
So, yeah.
All right.
You know what the sad thing is? I think that this is one of the better of the Twilight films.
I'd be if any of the other movies have a fucking plot. That's not just Edward and Bella staring at each other. Please do something. The most interesting part of the movie was like James and Edward and Bella, like that whole little scene. That's it.
It was all bad.
It was bad, but it was something to look at. That wasn't just like.
Like me and Nick, we should just try to reenact some of these scenes, just making the words big.
Vampire. Say it.
Vampire.
I'll go ahead and reenact a part of the movie for you right now with the audience. Roast beef.
All right. Join us next month for something else. Unless this gets hundreds of views, then join us next month for Twilight.
I picked a movie, but we're debating on whether it's a vampire movie. So once I win the debate, we'll get back to you.
We'll find out. So join us next month for another vampire
Whatever
movie.
Lance decides to torture us with.
Yeah.
Because apparently that's the goal now.
It depends. I picked Blood Rain because I think it's funny.
I enjoy Blood Rain.
I wanted to share it with my friends. And then it got a bunch of views, so I picked Twilight for the views, and we'll find out
If this breaks the trend.
if it's a pattern or not. We can be like, oh, that's just a one-off. Then we never have to watch Twilight again.
Or until we run out of other films.
And
Don't tell your friends.
Tell your friends.
This is not what I want this channel to get famous for. I swear to God, like if 1 year from now we find out that people like us torturing ourselves, and I'm just like, hey, welcome back to another fucking episode of You Fucking Hate Us, apparently. This week we're watching, I don't know, some fucking movie.
another episode of Schadenfreude.
Yeah.
Oh, real quick. Batman for Robert Pattinson. Batgirl for Bella. Batman and Robin because it fucking sucks.
Yeah.
All right, bye everybody.
Bye.
See ya.